I got a Stag, Wolf and Stag Wastelanders. So I kind of wanted to sit down with you guys and talk about weapon selection today and why I chose the Tommy Built Tactical TG36E as my carry, as my general purpose rifle. Alright guys, so if you've been watching the channel for a while, you guys have seen this. This is my Tommy Built Tactical TG36E. German stock, German barrel. The bolt carrier group and bolt are both HK G36 German. And it's been a staple of this channel and it's a staple of my gear. And it's my GTW, my SHTF, my all-purpose rifle. Obviously it's chambered in 5.56 but 4.5mm NATO, 223 Remington. It's my standard rifle, and a lot of you guys probably will have that consideration of why have such an expensive rifle, and why make that your primary rifle. Well, a few things. There's a lot of guys that go out and they spend the money, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 on an AR-15. That includes the HKMR 5.56 or any of the HK416 clones that are out there. And my reasoning is I wanted a G36 ever since I saw them come out. Been a huge fan of them. I don't even remember how old I was, but it was 1997. I saw it in Deutsches Waffenjournal, and they had the originals with the old triangle handguard that didn't have rails. It had the bipod. This is the A1 upgraded handguard from HK. I went ahead and swapped that out because this came with the original one without even heat shields. This one has the heat shield. And but about 2004, AR-15 started coming back onto the market because of the sunsetting of the Clinton era assault weapons ban. And by then I'd already had experience with Colt LE6920s, AR-15s, and so I was a huge fan of military style weapons, and having used a 6920 in law enforcement, I was wanting something that was different. I was well versed in the AR-15 series of rifles, and that led me to wanting a G36. And at the time, the only thing available was still the SL86, which is the thumbhole stock version of the G36. And I eventually came to the point of having kind of wanting the Tom Bostic conversion when I found out about it in, I want to say 2011. Well, by then I purchased a Bushmaster ACR, an actual Wyndham Bushmaster ACR. Mine didn't have the collapsible side folding stock. I had a number of AR-15s, and I just wanted something different. Everybody has an AR-15. Everybody loves the AR-15. Everybody has an AK-47. Everybody loves the AK-47. And I wanted something different. I really wanted the G36. Again, the SL86 was a neutered version of the G36. And I had the best of both worlds in a combination of the Bushmaster ACR, the Magpul Masada, as a lot of you know it originally started as. And it was a great weapon for what it was. But none of the caliber conversions came to pass, and buying accessories for it became kind of an issue. So fast forward to 2020 or 2019, 2018, when Tom Bostic announced that he was actually building the then at the time the T36, and it was I was really happy to see that, and so I wanted to be able to go and have one. And the price tag again is pretty much up there. It's up there with the ACR and the SCAR. But I wanted something that wasn't an ACR, wasn't a SCAR, wasn't a premium AR-15. Again, I've had time behind the AR-15. At the time, I'd also purchased a Century Arms C93, which is an HK433 clone. And I'd gotten rid of it by then because it just wasn't great. And I'd gotten rid of my ACR, went back to the AR-15. But I always wanted the G36. And the chance came up to get one. And here it is several years later, and you know, I still have it. Go over basically my build still, so it has the standard German K and E stock, A1 handguard with a heat shield. These are the side rails are actually the HK aluminum or HK polymer rails that you would find on it. I had to source those. An aftermarket aluminum under rail. I prefer that. Kind of adds a little bit more weight to this rifle because it is, even in this configuration at a 19-inch barrel in the E model, it's an extremely lightweight weapon. It's just incredible in how light it is. And also how easy it is to wield around inside a house and inside a vehicle and doing what you got to do. I mean, some of that actually comes to the side folding stock. I know that there is the IDZ variant, and there is the IDZ rail to upgrade it. This carry handle obviously is not the original. The original that came with it is the export carry handle with the, for lack of a better term, plastic, finicky, crappy iron sights. They're not great. They're good enough for government work, I guess. This is the best way to put it. But I went with more of a KSK style carry handle, which is the aluminum one from Tom Bostic, again from Tommy Built Tactical. And the optic I chose, because I couldn't find the optics I really wanted, was a Vortex Spitfire 3X. So I went with that. Obviously, my light laser combo isn't the most expensive. It was kind of like, rifle was the most expensive part, but I needed a white light and I wanted a laser. I wanted an optic that I knew could take the abuse and the punishment. So I went with a Vortex. Probably going to be changing optics. Haven't really decided. Sling system, pretty simple. But that was kind of my whole thing, was wanting to be different than just an AK-47 or an AR-15. And I originally started out with the, let's see if I can pull up a couple here, with the German mags that came with the rifle, the original German mags. I have 10 of these. And I really hated these Magpul PMags for it to begin with. And now I've actually kind of fallen in love with these over these big bulky things, because you can see the size difference is just, these can fit in an AR mag pouch, where these take a G36 specific magazine pouch. And that was some of the things that I wanted to look at and I wanted to have. I understand that it's a proprietary magazine system and it's a proprietary magwell. I can very easily change it to take an AR-15 magazine. But I wanted something that wasn't an AR-15. I have a lot of trigger time behind AR-15s, and I have a lot of trigger time behind the TG36. And I wanted gas piston, and gas piston AR-15s are, everybody's making them. Well, then everybody left gas piston. Me, I'm very happy with gas piston, with short stroke gas piston. I think, especially in this platform, it's probably the best option. It's easier to clean, easier to maintain. And not that an AR-15 is really anything that's terrible to maintain or clean. It's just, this fit what I wanted. It fit the kit that I was building. And so I decided and settled on that. And everybody and their brother has an AR-15. Like I said, everybody and their brother has an AR-15. Everybody and their brother has an AK-47. You know, there were other guns out there. The ACR, the CZ Bren 805. It's just, everybody had these. Everybody has an AR-15 platformed rifle. And like I said, I wanted something different. And there's nothing, not knocking the AR or the AK. They're both good platforms. They're both reliable. They've been around for a very long time. They've been in service for a very long time. But for me, I wanted something different. I wanted something that's not what everybody carries. Like everybody's got a Glock and everybody's got an AR-15. Wolfen has a Glock, has multiple Glocks, has an AR-15. So I chose that to pair with my HK-P30. And I know I'm a bit of a gun snob on that, the HK, but HK is reliable. Heckler & Koch is very well known for reliability and service. And that's what sent me to wanting HKs. The MP5 is not in any videos. It won't be. It's got into my collector's set. So I do have an MP5. It's an MP5 clone. It's an SW5. But that has gone into a collector's set. It's not used, and it's actually locked away in the vault. Won't disclose where that is, but it is locked away. But for a primary fighting rifle, I wanted something that wasn't an AR-15. And I understand parts availability is different, but everybody has an AR-15. Whereas this is, it's different. Everybody has an AK-47. And again, this is different. And that's why I wanted it. I've done some milsim with gas blowback G36s because, again, I was a big fan of the G36 and I wanted it. And one of the things that that really set me on this path of wanting this type of platform is just the reliability, the ease of maintenance. This is way easy to clean, and just the cool factor. The second kind of cool, as Nothing Fancy calls it, which is it's cool. And you know, if Nothing Fancy sees these videos, feel free to reach out. I will make that trip down to where you're at. You're not that far from me. I'd be more than happy to bring this with me and do a running gun with you. I always keep my kit in my car. I always keep my kit with me. But again, like I said, I wanted to go through, I wanted to do this kind of this whole thing of, you know, I like the German style weapons, mainly probably because my ancestry is mostly German, and I like the G36. It's a well thought out design. The ergonomics on it are amazing, and I like the ergonomics of it. To me, I'm a bigger guy, 6'7", so this rifle is my go-to. And a lot of that is just because AR-15s look small with me. Even a 16-inch barrel AR-15 looks small. And I wanted to get the extra length and extra velocity. I always felt that I want to get the optimum out of my carry weapon, or my service weapon, or my duty weapon, or whatever you want to call it. And again, that's why I went to the TG36. That's my primary carry. But again, I'm not going to bash on you if you own an AR-15 or if you own an AK-47. You choose what you like. You choose what you want. And this was one of those things that during the time I was working in the oil field, it was one of those things I could get. And with the help of a very good friend who is on this channel with me, Wolfen, he assisted me in sourcing it. He contacted Tom for me. He got some things set up for that, and he got the ball rolling on it because there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes. But I was able to purchase it. I have it, and it's my rifle. And again, it's my one gun to rule them all, right? So I'm sure you guys have saw the video on it, or seen the video already on it. And that was my thought behind my whole thought process behind having the arms in having one rifle, because that's the concept of the Wastelanders, is one rifle, one sidearm, one kit. And this is, again, that one rifle. And this was again a dream gun of mine, and I think that that's fulfilling in the concept of it, because I grew up with, you know, you have a hunting rifle, you have a 30-06. You want a semi-auto, Mini 14. That's my dad. It's always about Mini 14s. He owns one now, and I grew up with, I wanted the tactical stuff, and I like the look. I mean, the look of this is just amazing. The accuracy of it, I can't say enough. And I know there's been the articles and the issues that people have said, but I haven't run across them yet on this rifle. I have thousands of rounds downrange, including a shooting competition with this rifle. It's been through the whole thing, including that whole debacle with the receiver issue. Like I said, this is a TG36 receiver. This is an actual TG36. So try to get that in there so you guys can see it is a real TG36. This isn't the T36 that it started out as. And so on that receiver, I had lots of rounds downrange. Then again, I had to get it sent in, get a new receiver. Had to destroy the old receiver, get a new receiver, and I've been happy with it. I know a lot of people will talk about polymer guns, and polymer is just not great, and if done right, it is. That's my argument for it. I know there's a lot of AR-15s out there that are great. There's a lot of guns. The Scar, if the Scar is your thing, if it's your kick, it's your sexy, then get the Scar. If you want the Palmetto State Jackal, which I would love to get my hands on one, try out, see what the hype is, see if it's any good. Another one would be a Springfield Hellion. I've held one, I haven't fired one, but I liked the Springfield Hellion. I'm not a big bullpup fan. I've held a Tavor. I really wanted a Tavor until I held one. Realized that, to me, it felt like junk. And I know I'm probably going to get some hate for that, because there's probably some guys on here that just absolutely love the Tavor, and they have one, and the Tavor is the greatest thing ever made. But I don't know if I like the bullpup ergonomics and the magazine change. You know, this is pretty easy, you know. Yeah, YouTube, you know, it's got the AK style flapper, you know. I don't know why these mags aren't. Well, yeah, because I over inserted that one. So, you know, it's good, but for the PMags, I think that's the thing, and it's a cool thing. It's a coolness factor. I mean, what's cooler than slapping a couple of these together and having, you know, your extra mags and being ready to do the things if the thing happens, which let's all hope it doesn't happen. Let's all hope that nothing happens and we're all being paranoid over nothing, despite the parallels with history. Let's hope that we can right that wrong, right that ship, and prevent it from tipping over. But in the meantime, this is my setup. This is my go-to. And that's what I wanted to make this video. I wanted to make the video about the G36 and why I wanted it so much. I've probably mentioned it in other videos. We've since had a lot of videos that we've taken down over the years. They weren't gaining traction or whatever. But the idea behind it was to have this set up and have the whole thing so that I had my one gun. My plate carrier's been set around it. My war belt's been set around it. And just the ease of it is so much better. And I do, for being a 19-inch barreled rifle, it's not that long, not much longer, obviously, than an AR-15. And I like having the collapsible stock. I like the fact that it's a gas piston, so it's less having to deal with a buffer tube. You don't have to deal with the buffer tube. So those were my thoughts regarding this rifle, and really why I went with the TG36, with the G36 platform. But again, I'm not telling you not to get an AR-15 or not to get a CZ Bren or not to get an AK-47, or if you can find one, an ACR. When Franklin Armory comes out with an ACR or reintroduces the ACR, they're supposed to be, or to get a Palmetto State Jackal, get what you can afford and what you want. I guess is the biggest takeaway from this video. If you can afford something like this, or you can only afford a Jackal, get what you want. But then when you get what you want, get training on it. Spend some time at the range with it. Don't just pick it up, shoot it once, throw it back in the case. Take it out, go out, get some training, learn your weapon, learn how to maintain the weapon yourself, and generally focus on being proficient with that one firearm. If you could have one firearm, because when it hits the fan, if or when it hits the fan, more than likely when, you have to be proficient with just the one weapon that you're going to have with you. Just the one or two weapons, the sidearm and the rifle. So in that case, get proficient with what you have. I can't stress that enough. Spend time at the range. Learn how to maintain your own weapon. Learn how to field strip it, how to tear it down to its base components, how to completely gut it. Learn how to put a trigger in. And those should be the focuses of what you should do. And I'm sorry I keep paying attention to my phone, but that should be the focus on where you're at with whatever weapons platform you pick up, be it an AK-47, an AR-15, or an Armor Light derivative, AR-18 derivative. Be good and be proficient. And as Grand Thumb says, go out there and get yourself some training and learn the skills yourself. It doesn't take rocket science, and it's not difficult to learn the skills, and it's not difficult to get everything set up and ready to go to when you're ready for service, or when you're ready to take your weapon into action. You will learn the skills. Even if your action is just going and shooting in a competition, you should know the intricacies of each of your weapon systems and be proficient with them. Like I said, my choice was this because there's not a lot of them out there. I know of 2 of them in my city, and it's mine and one other one owned by a police officer. And get spare parts as well. So again, buy spare parts for your stuff and learn how to fix things yourself. You don't need to have a gunsmith do all your work for you. And again, guys, as always, if you guys like the content, please like, share, subscribe. Come over to our locals where you'll see some more content, and genuinely try to help support us. Tell your friends about us, support us, grow us. And as always, guys, this has been Stag with Wolf and Stag Wastelanders, and I'll see you in the Wasteland.